Today's episode is brought to you by Instructional Design Institute. Is your goal in 2025 to go back to the basics when it comes to design? If yes, then our fundamentals course is right for you. This is a type of a 7-week learning experience where we cover everything as far as from andragogy analysis, backward design, Gen AI, UDL, evaluation methods, you name it, we go through essentially every type of component that makes up what it means to create a meaningful, relevant, and interesting type of learning experience. And the best part about this course by far is that you don't go through the course alone. It's a cohort type of a base model, so you're going to be thinking together, sharing, collaborating. The whole focus and the point of everything is to learn from others, and that comes from the breakout rooms, the discussions, and everything else of the sort. And throughout the past 6 cohorts, we've had pretty much everyone take this course, from teachers to professors to deans to, of course, instructional designers, and any other role you can basically think of within the educational sphere. All folks are welcome on in to partake inside of this course. So whether your goal is to be able to advance in your career, whether it's to be able to walk away with a type of a portfolio, or just to be able to learn the skills that are going to apply immediately into your workplace, that's what this course is all about. So whether you're a transitioning teacher, a current instructional designer, or even a professor, go down below inside of his show notes and apply to be a part of the next cohort that starts on Monday, March 3rd. Can't wait to see you inside of a class. And now, let's start the show. Hello, learning nerds, and welcome on in to the nerdiest podcast you're going to hear today. I'm your host. My name is Dr. Luke Hobson. I'm an assistant director of instructional design, an instructor, an author, a blogger, and a podcaster. And my purpose is to be able to share with you what I know about instructional design and designing learning experiences in order for you to be able to take this information and to bring it back inside of your workplace, your classroom, or just trying to be able to help you out with your career and being able to help you to grow as a designer and as an educator. And of course, you can find all of the fabulous resources that I have for you over at drlukehobson.com. What happens when you upload 30 short videos in 30 days on YouTube? This has become a popular trend among content creators where there's a type of a challenge. And the challenge is to stick to one social media platform and be active on it every day. This can include making posts, commenting on others' topics, writing articles, or creating videos. The idea really is to immerse yourself in the platform, experiment, and see it through, and see exactly what comes from all of your hard work and your effort. Now, I always wanted to try this out with creating what are called YouTube Shorts, 60-second or less videos. If you use the YouTube app, you can actually see that there is a section specifically for shorts instead of long-form content. And I wanted to try this out and just see what would happen if I ended up making 30 videos in 30 days. Would I gain more subscribers? Would I get more reviews? Would I get more comments? Or would this be just a massive waste of time? It's entirely possible that that was going to be the outcome of this journey. Overall, it was an experiment that I originally called it as 25 videos in 2025, but I ended up having so much fun with it that I was like, I'm going to stick it and try to be able to get 30. So instead, we're going to do a 30 and 30. And actually, to the point of time when I'm making this episode, I still haven't stopped. So there's still shorts that are coming out every single day since the start of 2025. So today's episode, as you can probably guess, is that I want to share with you the results, the findings, what it was like to do this every single day. And maybe you're thinking about doing a type of a similar challenge. Perhaps it's not on YouTube, but it's about writing every single day for 30 days because you've always wanted to be able to write a book, or you're thinking about trying to be able to get that promotion and you want to be able to do a small task to help to get you there every day for 30 days. Whatever it is, for you to be able to understand more about the thought process, the mentality, and how I kind of organize this all together, I just want to share with you what it was like. So let's first start talking about everything, which we need to talk about the game plan. Now, the game plan was essentially, I wanted to make this challenge as simple as possible. I already have a million projects going on, there was no way that I could dedicate even more time, energy, effort, and resources into making this thing work. So from a time management perspective, I knew that my best bet in order to record 30 videos in 30 days was that I wanted to be able to batch record multiple videos at a time. So what I ended up doing was that I would take about an hour over the weekend and I would just set up my iPhone. I would wear my little lav mic and clip that onto my sweater. And then I would just go and record and basically mention about different types of topics that I had in the back of my mind about what I wanted to be able to talk about for that weekend. I also let this information kind of marinate over time, and I have a running notepad app on my phone where every time something hits me for inspiration, like a new type of a blog topic or a video topic or a podcast episode, I would just write it down. So there was a huge bullet pointed list inside of my phone, and that's what I did, was that I would review it before recording and try to see what 5 or 7 topics can I do within this hour. I should also mention too that I did a couple of practice runs and dry runs before actually recording, trying to be able just to string together some coherent thoughts and sentences before I put this out into the internet. I figured I should probably practice a little bit first. Nothing too crazy, but for some of these topics that I recorded videos for, I had never talked about them before. It was entirely new material, so I wanted to make sure that I knew what I was going to say before putting it out there online. The other idea with creating all of these videos was that I did not want to spend any time editing. There was essentially zero editing done in any of the videos, which if you've seen any of them, you can tell it is just one take of me stringing together some thoughts for 50 to 60 seconds. The only editing that I did was to make sure to have the closed captioning turned on. Now, there's a reason why I did this. And yes, of course, accessibility and all those reasons, that makes plenty of sense. But there's another reason, and that's the fact that for millennials and Gen Z, there is this strong desire for subtitles and not just having like closed captioning turn on at the bottom, but no, in order to make the subtitles a featured part of the video. Now, what's kind of interesting about this, I kept on reading articles that would discuss about the love of subtitles from these two different generations, and I found one recent survey where they had 63% of the survey respondents said that they prefer to watch content with subtitles turned on. Another article that I was reading about mentioned how for these two generations, when it comes to social media, they will not watch a short or a reel or a TikTok or whatever you want to call them without subtitles, period. So if that is not there, they don't watch them because many folks do not watch these short videos with their sound turned on. Now, at first, I was like, well, that's strange. Why do people do that? And then I thought about my own behavior. And when I am doom scrolling, I'm usually on the train, I'm on the T, I'm commuting. So because of that, I don't have my sound turned on, and I do the same darn thing where I listen in silence, and if there are no words that are passing by as I'm seeing this video, then I won't watch it. So apparently, which I'm a millennial, so I would be a part of one of those 63% who say that, yes, I prefer to watch things with subtitles. The other beautiful part about all of this when it comes to not trying to spend a ton of time with editing is that you can't change the YouTube thumbnails. Whatever you make for being in the video, it snags one of those screenshots, and that's it. And you can choose like what screenshot from the video, but whatever. I didn't care about that. I just wanted it to be done. So whatever it gave me, that's what it looks like. And if you watch shorts and you see some of the thumbnails and you're like, why did it look so weird? It's because we can't control it. So therefore, it gives you what it gives you. From uploading YouTube content over the last few years, I know that there is a sweet spot for timing, and that's between 8 a.m. and noon. That seems to work the best for my audience. I know that people have debated this very strongly about how it doesn't matter or how you should be actually uploading specifically within like a very, very small type of a time frame. And what's interesting about this is that YouTube said, because it gives you the data to be able to see when people are using the app and when they are watching your content specifically. And YouTube mentioned that people are the most online and active when watching my content between noon and 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So I tried that and I experimented a little bit. The whole point of this whole thing was to experiment, and it didn't make any difference. So I don't know. But I know that for my schedule, when I'm editing the videos, I'm usually doing it early in the morning. So hence they would come out at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. The other part of this equation was that I use LinkedIn all the time, as you're probably aware. And that's my platform. It's been my platform for over the last 10 years. And I built up a really great community over there with Learning Nerds. And I knew that the shorts had to be cross-posted on LinkedIn in order to drive more traffic. Way more of you follow me on LinkedIn compared to YouTube. So I knew that if I was going to do this, it would just make way more sense to post it on YouTube and then to reshare that link on LinkedIn, and I would write a little bit more about it and to set the stage a bit for the video. So after that whole game plan, my starting point for actually doing this, step one, I guess the other one was like step 0. This is actually step 1, is that I know the importance of when you start anything new, you have to share about it. You need to be able to get the audience invested because they want to be able to follow along with you because they're a part of this journey with you. Whatever you're doing, folks are very keenly interested in following along from like a step-by-step process and really trying to be able to see from start to finish how everything goes. So I gave everybody a heads up that this video was going to be, this video journey is going to be coming out soon. So I created one short video that mentioned about the 25 in 2025 challenge. And sure enough, there were tons of comments and likes and things of that nature from all of you just saying about how excited you were, about how you wanted to be able to check this out every day, how you're not going to miss any of the videos. So I figured from that type of early initial reaction that I'm on to something. I'm going to try it and I'm going to see it all the way through and to see what happens. So with that said, let's dive on in and share about the analytics and everything from behind the scenes. From January 1st to January 30th, the YouTube channel garnered 18,515 views. This was almost a 600% increase compared to the prior months. Watch time also went up significantly. This category is for how many hours people actually watched the channel itself. So this amassed almost 400 hours of watch time in total, 169% more compared to the prior month. Not surprisingly, I gained 140 subscribers. And if you were wondering, by the way, like what does YouTube pay for this type of level of engagement? I made $21.64. I'm not quitting my day job anytime soon. But these are just numbers, and they don't actually paint the entire full picture for things. So I also want to share with you a little bit more about some surprising things I found pertaining to the audience. My biggest surprise from this entire type of challenge was who watched the short videos. Now, I expected the content to primarily be reaching mainly millennials, some Gen X, some Gen Z. That's who I assumed was using YouTube Shorts and similar types of platforms. And it did. It did reach those folks. However, I also received a few questions that seemed to come from like the youngest of Gen Z viewers, particularly those who are asking about making instructional design their major in college, which is something I never thought I would be responding back to on a YouTube channel. Another unexpected finding was the male to female ratio of viewers. I never would have guessed that 70% of the audience would be male. That is very odd to me. My audience has always been a fair split of female to male, where I've seen plenty of months where it was more female viewers compared to males. For this period of time, from the long form content, so not the shorts, but the long form content in January, it was a bit more balanced, 41% female, 58% male. But the fact that for shorts specifically, it was young males, which really was surprising. One aspect of the audience that wasn't captured in the numbers but stood out in the comments was how many people were unfamiliar with instructional design. And I'm not sure how YouTube's algorithm works. No one does. But clearly the algorithm decided to show the shorts to people who were outside of the instructional design field. And I base this off of observations where I saw comments of like, what's instructional design? And how did you know about instructional design before school? How do I know about it now? What should I be looking into? And of course, I saw some comments being like, learning styles are real. And I'm like, I'm definitely reaching people who are not a part of the instructional design community, which is really interesting. There were a few types of noticeable trends that I also wanted to break down too that I saw. And I knew that some of the videos were going to have more engagement compared to others. Social media loves controversy. So anytime that I would release a video that you would take one side or the other, that clearly drove engagement. So when I mentioned topics like debunking learning styles, or my problem with multiple choice questions, or why I think that marketing has ruined certain words for us, like engagement or gamification, or the cons of instructional design, all of these videos did very well. There were some videos that I thought that were actually going to crush. I thought they were going to do really well, and they did not. They fell like flat. I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. So when you're creating content that other people don't create, that either means there is a section of the market who is missing this content and they want to be able to view it and to see it, or people aren't creating content about this because of the fact that it's not in demand. So I took a couple of swings to see what would happen if I talked about content for more veteran instructional designers. I talked about leadership positions. I talked about becoming a senior instructional designer, becoming an assistant director or a director of instructional design, how to move up in management. So I did a lot more like leadership instructional design style videos and really didn't do that well. So I'm not sure if that was because of I wasn't reaching the right audience, or if the videos weren't good enough, or if there's something else that I'm not thinking about. But once again, the whole point of all of this was to be able to experiment and to see what really happened. So was this effort successful? Would I do something different the next time around? I'd say that this was a success because this was an experiment. I really didn't have a goal. The only goal that I had was to simply finish the challenge and upload 30 short videos in 30 days. By that metric, I completed the task, I completed the challenge. The other thing was obviously hoping for the audience, for you, to be able to see this content and to have a different type of spin on my content. I always make and create long-form content. It's what I love as a consumer. It's what I love to be able to do because I love to teach. This is my best way to share with you as much information as I can, is to really give you the full picture. So I talk a lot. My videos are pretty long. So I wanted to try this different type of path to see, is this more helpful? Is this something that you enjoy? If yes, I'll do it more. If not, maybe I'll try something new. So I was trying to find a different type of way of being able to serve you. What was a bit tricky about all of this, though, was that I really did not have clearer goals besides just, I want to finish. So I didn't know if things were going great. If they weren't, it was kind of on like a daily basis perspective to see, how was I feeling? Was I happy with a certain type of a number, hitting a type of a threshold? Was I happy with certain types of a number of comments or likes or reshares? It was different. It's not like LinkedIn, where trying to be able to engage with someone on that platform, I can clearly see who's commenting and I know who you are. I remember your names. It's so much easier to actually make that personal connection on LinkedIn. Whereas for YouTube, I can't tell who you are. It's random comments coming from Fantasy Football Guy 2002. And you're like, all right, I don't know who that is, but hey, I hope this content helped you. It's definitely, you don't have the same type of connection with people. So it's a little bit different in that sense. I also found that data doesn't really tell the full story, and that makes this also a bit challenging. So by all means, I'm stoked that the channel received almost 20,000 views in a month. Like, that's crazy for an instructional design channel. Wow, that makes me happy knowing that 20,000 people saw this channel. So by all means, that is amazing. That's more than the channel actually reaches in like an entire a month or even going back to several months, it's the best the channel has performed in a long, long period of time. But with so many other views comes this idea that you're now opening up yourself to everybody. And that was something that I found to be very interesting. So 20,000 views in a month. That's obviously not viral. I have some friends, though, who have actually gone viral. They made it big, and they have like the YouTube plaques and, all those things. And from speaking with them, they all say it's not worth it because of the fact that if you get so much attention, this means that you're now welcoming all kinds of attention. And that means even more hate than normal. And some people will just really disagree with you and want to tell you how much they disagree with you. And that is not a great feeling, to being able to see those comments on like a daily basis. And it's like, oh, I don't want that. But certainly some of the comments that I received, I was like, wow, I don't think we're in the same space. Like this is definitely different. So that was rather tricky to being able to realize that I'm not reaching the same audience anymore. It was, you're casting a wide net. So I got everybody, which in one hand is fantastic because now new subscribers, growing the community, reaching more instructional designers, phenomenal. On the other hand, get some people where I'm like, I don't think you would say that to my face in the real world, but you know what? We're just gonna move on with that comment, move on with my day, and start anew the next day. So what I've learned is that visibility is important, but so is intention. I don't want to be the loudest voice in the room. I want to be the one that people actually come to be able to listen to and to hear. So instead of having that humongous megaphone and speaking things out, I think if I had to do this all over again, I would be smarter with how I would try with approaching videos, do more from a hashtag perspective, which I did, but I don't know. I feel like I could have done those better. And of course, ask other people who use YouTube more than I do about different types of pieces of advice around what they do. The next challenge that I want to do is that LinkedIn has now adopted this whole shorts, reels, stories idea. And now they have their own type of version. You might have this on your app. It was in a beta mode for a while now. I think now it's fully public, where now there's like LinkedIn videos. And I don't even know off the top of my head what they're called anymore. But if you upload a LinkedIn video, it will go into that part of the app, or it will show up onto your feed. And I noticed that when I don't link out to YouTube and I keep things on LinkedIn, I hear from way more of you. And on top of that, way more of you see the comments. You can actually see the impressions and how many people have seen your posts. And if I keep everything on the platform, which is what it wants, it doesn't want you to leave the platform. It wants you to stay on LinkedIn, and that's what every social media platform wants you to be able to do. Then I hear from more of you, and the things that I share online do better. So I kind of want to do a 30 for 30 on LinkedIn. Maybe you'll see an announcement by the time this podcast episode comes out. Maybe not, but that's something else I've been thinking about too. So stay tuned, but that is going to be coming in the future, apparently. I'll just make that public now. But that, my friends, that was my journey of creating 30 short videos in 30 days and sharing a little bit more about the behind the scenes in case if you were thinking about doing this or some other type of challenge. And by the way, if you are thinking about doing a type of a 30 and 30 challenge, let me know. Go down below and either comment on where I'm posting this, which is on LinkedIn, or going to drlukehobson.com in this article and share with us about what you're working on and what you're going to be doing for 30 days straight. The one thing that I did enjoy from this was that I clearly built up a new habits, a new pattern that I just knew every day, where I was like, all right, it's time to film. Okay, it's time to do my quick little editing and putting that out there. And I kind of enjoyed that process. It was something new. And maybe you'll find the same thing too for it being rewarding or being able to do a new type of a task or a new type of challenge like this. But I'd love to hear from you about what you plan on doing next. And as a reminder, if you want to learn about how to become a better instructional designer, how to design better learning experiences, the next cohort for the Fundamentals of Instructional Design course offered by Instructional Design Institute is starting up again Monday, March 3rd, 7th cohort. Can't wait to do this one once again. They're always so much fun. I love being able to teach that class and have all the cohort come together and to share more about their backgrounds, their passions, their interests, and just being able to do more together as a community is always so much fun. So if you want to be able to be a part of that next cohort, please go down below inside of the show notes, apply today, and you'll be hearing from us, and we'll go from there. And that, folks, that's all that I have for you today. Stay nerdy out there, and I'll talk to you next time.